Welcome everyone to another rousing edition of Call to the Bullpen. Actually, I take that back. This is a special triple threat edition because you have not one, not two, but three hosts for this episode. I am Jared Silverlight.
And I'm the always using Austin Kennedy.
And it's your boy, Chase B.
That's right. We have Chase B in the house making his debut on Call to the Bullpen to talk some football. We've got
our expert football analyst.
Yeah, I've been listening to the show ever since it started, and I really like it. But, I wanted to give them some flavor, I wanted to really bring some pop to the show, and I think I got something to offer for everyone here.
All right, well, let's not waste any time. We're here to talk Week 3 action. It was a crazy, unpredictable, unexpected week in the NFL, to say the least.
If you bet on any of these games, you probably lost a lot of money.
Yeah, this weekend was definitely a bookie's friend.
Oh yeah, miserable. Absolutely miserable for the Vegas bettors out there.
Well, we kick things off with what we've pretty much been waiting for the last 3 weeks ever since the season started. We finally saw the Browns plug in Baker Mayfield, and what happened? The Browns offense instantly turned the corner. It was miserable. They weren't getting anything done with Tyrod. The second Baker steps in, they start driving the ball. They start putting up points.
Listen, I doubted you when you brought it up. I think you brought it up 3 weeks ago. You brought it up again last week. I did not believe Baker Mayfield. I didn't think it would have made a difference. I thought the Browns were just going to be a mediocre team all year. And clearly I was proven wrong. Baker Mayfield walked in, slapped everybody in the teeth, and said, look at me, I'm here, and played an incredible game, and I am a Baker believer, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no, Baker's definitely the real deal. It's a shame that it took an injury to Tyrod Taylor for them to figure that out. Hugh Jackson should have saw the talent in Baker Mayfield before, just having to basically be forced into putting him in the game. And Baker took the opportunity, that's for sure. And
See, listen, I think, and maybe it's just me, but I think Tyrod's injury was a little bit of a half injury, and why is Baker's helmet on? They're going to put him in at halftime anyway, so let me get out of this game while I still have my tail between my legs. It's, instead of they took me out at halftime because I'm terrible, let me make the headlines say that I was injured and they put Baker in because I was injured. Maybe it's just me, but he saw Baker with his helmet on for almost 10 full minutes of that game before they finally pulled him and put him in after he got half tackled to the ground and hurt his back. It didn't even look like he landed awkwardly or anything, and they threw him in there. So I don't know. I think half of the injury was fudged.
I mean, I think it says a lot about his talent. The fact that he was able to go in there and have such instant success working with these pieces, considering that one of the big preseason controversies was the fact that Hugh Jackson didn't play Baker with the first-team offense. He didn't give him any reps with the guys that were going to be his ones and twos. And, I mean, you look at this team, and all of a sudden, for all the baggage that the Browns carry with them year in, year out, they finally have a solid squad on both sides of the ball with a pretty deep secondary. I mean, Denzel Ward has proven to be a terrific draft pick for them, and Myles Garrett is obviously a premier pass rusher. You look on offense, if you had just I think another big play receiver, this would be an offense that's really capable of making waves, but you still got Jarvis Landry and Carlos Hyde in there.
Well, they got the rookie Callaway. Callaway looks really good. The thing with Baker is he ups everybody else's game on that offense, so I think everybody gets an uptick. Jarvis Landry, Njoku definitely gets an uptick, and, honestly, I would be kind of afraid to face the Browns now because you don't know what they got. They have a proven defense in the past couple of weeks that we knew the defense was good. We knew they were flying around the field, and now you got an offense led by the number 1 overall pick, and I could go out and see, a pretty weak division that they're in. It seems to be the Steelers are struggling, the Ravens are struggling.
And it's not just a weak division, but it's a division filled with inconsistent, mistake-prone quarterbacks now going up against a secondary that we know can force turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, the Baker came out with a fire under that team. He really made that stadium get up on their feet, get excited for the first time. And I mean, he opened the cooler, so that was pretty cool. I mean, he had that entire town ready to party and rock and roll and do his little dances on the field that he does. It really made it an exciting football game out of what was nothing of a Browns team for the last, 15 years. I mean, it's incredible to see, really.
That wasn't just the reaction of a team getting its first win in 2 years. That was the reaction of a hometown crowd knowing that they found their franchise quarterback after searching for him for years. How many high draft picks have we seen the Browns spend on quarterbacks or make deals around the draft, like when they got RG3 a few years ago, they thought he was their savior. But for them to find Baker and get that instant production from him, it's huge for that team.
Yeah, there was a stat, don't quote me exactly on the number, but I remember when I was watching the game, there was a stat where it said, this is the list of the Browns' number one draft picks, or first round draft picks since 2006, and 0 of them are still on the team. I mean, they've drafted a million guys under the sun, and nobody's left. Nobody's left. So the fact that Baker can come out and really light a fire under that team. Jarvis Landry was a phenomenal wide receiver, like you said. He gets an uptick just by having a great quarterback thrown to him. Baker threw him a couple absolute seeds, and he caught some great passes and really ramped up his stats in the last couple quarters of that game, bring him to a win. And everybody helped out. So it was a really fun game to watch. Really exciting football coming out of Baker Mayfield and the Browns going forward.
Yeah. Next up, we had the Saints topping the Falcons in overtime. I swear, these overtime games are making everybody so nervous all of a sudden because, I think a tie was considered almost unheard of a couple years ago, but now the fact that we're 2 weeks in and we have had a tie each week, people were thinking, don't let another major divisional game between two top contenders go to a tie. Eventually, Brees is able to pull out the win. He's been playing out of his mind for 3 weeks of the season.
Drew Brees has been reborn. For everybody that doubted Drew Brees, he's getting up there in age. Tom Brady's showing the world that quarterbacks, they can play to the late 30s and possibly maybe even the early 40s. Drew Brees looked fantastic. Not only did he get the ball in the end zone through the air, he got it through the ground. What more do you want from your 38, 39-year-old quarterback?
No, I spun out two guys for a touchdown. Come on. I can't spin out two guys for a touchdown. And that guy is just ripping people apart with his feet. It's crazy.
No doubt. People thought the Saints were moving toward a more run-centered offense last year, a dynamic run-centered offense. But the first 3 games this year, it's been all Brees. They're getting production out of Kamara, but it's been those passes out of the backfield. And Michael Thomas is absolutely an elite wide receiver, one of the best in the game. And him and Brees, they've been lighting it up. They've been putting up points in bunches.
Well, if we compare it to last year, they don't have Mark Ingram because of the suspension.
Exactly. And Kamara was used to a tandem.
Yeah, and Mark Ingram was definitely the one that he was more the ground and pound back in the backfield.
Right.
But their defense is pretty much forcing Drew Brees to throw for 4 touchdowns a game because they just their defensive side of the ball looks terrible to me.
Right. And that's actually kind of a disappointing aspect of their game because people thought they took some steps forward defensively last year. They haven't been able to build on that at all. They've been involved in just wild shootouts. Aside from that game against the Browns where even still, I think that the defense pretty much performed about as poorly as it could against Tyrod Taylor throughout most of the game. But still, against the Bucs, they got shelled. Against the Falcons, they got shelled. Good offenses nonetheless, but you expect a little bit more from the team playing at home.
Well, let's not take anything away from that Falcons offense either because, they got Julio Jones on that side of the ball. Tevin Coleman, who is a very serviceable RB2 for that team. And now the emergence of Calvin Ridley, it really seems like, is going to be a major threat on that Falcons offense.
Oh, no doubt. This is a team that went to the Super Bowl with that wide receiver unit of Julio and Sanu and that tandem of Coleman and Freeman. When he gets back out there, that's going to add an extra dimension to that offense, obviously. They've relied on a tandem running back situation. But Calvin Ridley coming up big with 3 touchdowns in that game. He had so much depth to the team that already was lacking in that area.
How do you feel about the Matt Ryan truthers out there? Because Matt Ryan, let's not forget, he won the MVP a couple of years ago, and he goes out there last year, and people are kind of was it the system? Was it Shanahan?
Right.
He looked pretty good last night.
Listen, I'm not mad that I started Patrick Mahomes in fantasy, but I'm extremely mad that Matt Ryan sat on my bench last night because he put up some ridiculous numbers in that game. I don't know if he's the greatest quarterback that these truthers think he is, but
he's got so many tools.
Yeah, and he definitely showed that he can hold up with some of the best of them. He's got weapons. You can't knock the fact that he's got Julio Jones on his team, Mohamed Sanu, another great wide receiver. I think what did he have, 1 or 2, maybe 2 touchdowns last night, but definitely some big numbers out of those teams. And Matt Ryan he's putting it up, and he's going to win more games, and he's looking a lot better than he did last year. So So
no doubt. I think that you take Matt Ryan, you put him in kind of the Jared Goff category of he's going to make mistakes. He's not a top 5 quarterback by any means, but when there's that much talent around him, it's really hard if you can sling it downfield to not be productive and not put up points. And we saw yesterday nearly 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he played mistake-free. So he's a guy who's going to have success, even though if he's not going to be in the Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady category, he's still going to have a chance to be very successful in the league.
Definitely, no doubt about that. And a big win by them last night, so really good to see it out of them.
Yep, no doubt. Moving on, we had a monstrous upset as the Buffalo Bills. They were freaking 17.5 point underdogs.
What even was this game?
I don't even. Yeah,
I'm watching. I'm not even watching this game because I'm thinking, okay, this one's going to be easy. I can pretty much just look at the box score and see what happens in this game. And it starts off with a Cousins fumble followed by a score, goes to another Cousins fumble. I mean, I had to turn the TV on and see what disaster was unfolding in Minnesota. It was crazy.
It was awful. I turned it on and I think it was 17-0, and I immediately turned it off and something else on because I just didn't understand what was going on. The fact that the Bills walked into Minnesota and stomped the Vikings' teeth in was atrocious, disgusting, and just an awful football game to watch. I mean, I'm happy for the Bills that they pulled it off, and what's being dubbed so far the greatest upset of the season. But the fact that they were 17.5 point underdogs, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Broncos. What was it, 4 years ago when they went in as like 24-point favorites, and they got smoked.
Are you talking about the Super Bowl?
No. It was like week 7 of the season. They were playing the Jaguars or something before the Jaguars came up as this great defense. And they were 24, 25-point favorites. And I don't remember, they either didn't win the game or they won by minimal. They didn't cover the spread. The fact that it was another game with a ridiculous line and it comes absolutely nowhere close. I don't know. I mean, it was atrocious.
Well, here's what I think. You think that, and I was thinking about this, you think that those guys in that Bills locker room don't see these lines, and they don't see everybody talking about how trash they are and how they're never going to win a game this year.
They were pretty much slammed as being the worst team in the entire NFL. They said they had the worst offense, the worst defense, that this was going to be a number one overall pick, that the season's already done. And, I mean, people were even questioning Josh Allen, whether after they started Nathan Peterman, people were still doubting whether Josh Allen should be the starter of this team. And he put up some points against Chargers. A lot of them were in garbage time, so it didn't really do much to sway anyone's opinion. He came out and he balled in this game.
Oh, yeah, he went and got it. Did you see him hop over that defender?
With his legs? Yeah, absolutely.
You can tell when you want it. And when I turned on the game, I looked at the pass rush. I looked at him throwing the ball and him running for extra yards. You could just tell the Bills wanted it more than the Vikings did.
Absolutely. And I mean, what a disappointing loss for Minnesota, because all of a sudden you're heading into a Thursday night game against the Rams, who at this moment they look like the best team in football. They've been living up to the preseason hype, one of the few teams that's actually the season's gone according to expectations. So for the Vikings, this is a team where through 4 games they could have one win.
Yeah, the Vikings fans and they
do have one win so far. They're 1-1.
4 games, so that is actually
stupid tie.
No, they're definitely going to be disappointed with how the season started this year. I believe that they're going to turn it around. They're a good team. They've got a lot of good pieces on the defense and offensive side. I think that you'll still see them at the end fighting for that division. But definitely a slow start, and they're going to have to turn things around. I know the Dalvin Cook injury sets them back a little bit, but they have a serviceable.
They survived without him all last year.
Latavius Murray, he's a baller. He can play. So they're going to have to figure out something with this Rams team, because the Rams, although it is been confirmed that they're missing their 2 cornerbacks this week.
Yeah, I was just about to say that Marcus Peters is out for the next 2 to 4 weeks with calf strain. So I mean,
and to keep
granted that defense is on paper and obviously statistically through the first 3 weeks the best, if not one of the best defenses in the league. Losing 2 top-tier elite corners in Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib is obviously never a good thing. So they're really going to have to step it up and pull out a big win.
Yeah, that means your cornerback 3 is covering Diggs and your cornerback 4 is covering Thielen. I'm sorry, that's not going to
It's not going to happen. No.
Well, Diggs was quiet for my fantasy team this week. 4 catches for 17 yards against the Bills, who managed to surrender 47 points to Joe Flacco a couple weeks ago.
Joe
That stinks.
I think, and I'm really happy for the Bills community, but I think it's just one of those, like,
one game. They played their heart out.
It was a fluke.
Well, luckily for the Vikings, they weren't the only team in that division that blew it yesterday. The Packers let up 31 points, 28 in the first half to the Redskins, losing a game. I think a lot of people thought this was really unexpected, considering that the Redskins just blew one to the Colts after an impressive road win in Week 1. So, I mean, the Packers, it's full season there, Rodgers, which they have to have. But
half of Rodgers, I'd like to say.
Half of Rodgers, but the team still clearly has concerns defensively.
Yeah, and I'd like to throw another shout out to the old guys of Adrian Peterson going out, throwing out 2 tutties. I mean,
another guy that I benched in fantasy who traded me last week.
Yeah,
and stardom smokes everywhere. Well, this is traded as a waste, and here we go.
I want him back, by the way.
I know, right?
I think that through 3 games, we've seen the pattern with the Redskins' offense as far as how they're going to win games. When you let Alex Smith, when you expose him minimally, and you just let him make the necessary throws when he needs to, be that game manager, and let Adrian Peterson, if he goes off, as he goes, so do the Redskins. Because we saw Week 2, they tried to put the game in Alex Smith's hands. They're playing from behind a lot of the way and throwing it a ton. You look statistically throughout Alex Smith's career, whenever he's had to throw it more than 40 times, he has a losing record. So I think that that's his strength. He just isn't that type of quarterback. And Adrian Peterson obviously is up there in years, but he's shown in 2 games this year that he can be very productive. So if they get that out of him, then that's going to make this offense go.
Yeah, I think in order for the Redskins to be successful, they're going to have to lean on the run and lean on the play action with Alex Smith. That's when he's at his best, is when the defense is playing the run and he can have some time to throw to those wide receivers. And let's be honest, they don't really have a playmaker on the wide receiver end. I think their best wide receiver is actually a tight end, and his name's Jordan Reed.
Right. I mean, they do have Vernon Davis who's approaching his 55th birthday. So, his AARP card will be coming in the mail. And we wish him all the best.
Is it Social Security while he plays?
Yeah. His 401k should be kicking in soon, right?
What year is that?
No doubt. All right. We love you, Vernon Davis. If you're listening to this, please share and ignore those insensitive comments.
But with the with the Packers, though, I gotta say, and I know you have the number 1 quarterback possibly in Aaron Rodgers. I only say possibly because you still got Tom Brady in the league. But they gotta really figure out a new game plan than just keep Rodgers in the pocket and throw little dump passes. It's not going to work against these defenses. They're going to figure that out.
No, they got either.
Well, not just that, but the fact that he's sacrificing mobility with this injury.
They can't scramble for. Granted, he's not a runner, but he can definitely scramble for those first downs that 3rd and 12, and he ends up running for 13. Gets that 1 yard, sticking the ball over the first down marker. He hasn't been able to do that. So it's. You got to figure out a different game plan, like you said. Whether it's bringing in another wide receiver or figure something out, pull some trick plays.
Yeah, Rodgers is at his best.
What do we need, a Lambo special?
Rodgers is at his best when he's making plays out of the pocket. He's moving out. Wide receivers can do their second, third cuts. But it seems like that Green Bay, maybe with Aaron Jones, he returned from suspension this week. You saw a little bit of him. I think if he gets back into the game plan this week, they can rely more on the run because he's definitely the best running back in that team. They might be able to go with a more conservative approach than their just pass-heavy offense.
No doubt. Moving on, we have the Eagles hanging on for a narrow win over the Colts in Carson Wentz's first game back after his ACL tear. Finally recovered. He was cleared for contact. Starts 1 week later and leads his team to a win. Came alive for a drive in the fourth quarter. But the Eagles edged out a team that I think a lot of people thought was kind of beneath them. But there's just something about Philly so far. They just seem so mediocre. They're not exciting.
I said this at the beginning of the year. It's something with the Super Bowl winning teams. If you're not named the New England Patriots, you always come back and you have a year. Everybody expects you to make the Super Bowl again because you won it. Yeah. So you're the best team at the end of the season. But I said it with Philly. I think that they're gonna, they might make a wild card spot. Heck, they might win the division because the division looks pretty weak. But I don't see it in Philly this year. I don't see the specialness that they had last year. Carson Wentz, he's still Carson Wentz in my opinion. I think once he gets fully healed, he'll be able to play.
Play without Alshon Jeffrey. They're missing that big play wide receiver.
Yeah,
I mean, you got Ertz is a good tight end. Their top receiver is Nelson Aguilar.
It's not. Yeah, and also Jay Ajayi and their other running back.
Jay Ajayi,
another old guy. Throw it up to the oldies today.
Right. Yeah.
They both sat this game, so they were able to get it done without them, which is good for them. But I don't. It's not that I don't like the Eagles. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing against the Eagles. I just don't think that they have that it factor this year. Like
they really, this offense seems to like they can do enough to win games. I mean, it's very possible they wind up with 9 wins this year, or 10. But they just feel like a very unexciting team that's going to do just enough versus really blow you away offensively.
Yeah, I mean. It'd be nice to see him pick it up a little bit, like you said. I mean, I think we all agreed earlier in the season when we made our predictions that they wouldn't be the greatest team on the planet. I went even as far as to say that they wouldn't make the playoffs, and I can be quoted on that on our NFL season preview. So, I mean, I don't know. They may pick it up a little bit and pull it off a little more, but you're right. Without those big weapons, they might fall down to the bottom of the pack there.
Yeah, and with the Colts, it's not that I'm not giving the Colts credit. I think the Colts do look
they're very limited.
They look better than they did last year, obviously, with Andrew Luck. But Andrew Luck's his throwing, his ability to throw the ball downfield is clearly still a factor. I mean, he can't do it. He's still injured. They subbed Jacoby Brissett in for the last play of the game because they knew Andrew Luck couldn't throw a 55-yard ball down the field. I mean, that's got to be a concern.
And you're playing with a very limited receiving core. I mean, when T.Y. Hill's the best you got, you don't have much behind him, don't have much running game going. It's pretty much all luck. And when you have a quarterback that's capable of making plays like that, it's when it comes down to a situation where it's a last team with the ball type game, he has the ability to lead the Colts to wins. But when you're just not really doing anything that much more dynamic on offense, the defense is going to overpower anyone. It's going to be hard for this team to win more than I think 6 games this year.
Yeah, I think Andrew Luck's going to have to throw the ball down the field, and we haven't seen that he can do that yet.
Nope. Moving on, we had the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, everybody. They're 3-0. They're one of the best teams in the NFL at this point. And
on top of the AFC East.
Not just on top, commanding 2-game lead.
Unbelievable. Nobody would have expected this at the start of the year.
Well, I mean, I think that Ryan Tannehill is. I think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for throughout his career. This is a guy who's played with some awful play calling, awful coaching, and awful offensive lines. I mean, nobody has took more abuse than this guy for a period of several years in the league. And he's won 10 of his last 11 starts, I believe.
Yeah, he's been on fire, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't expect it of the Dolphins. No way would I have said earlier in the season that they'd be 3-0. I mean, absolutely not. In fact, that they have come out and won the first 3 games of the season and have a potential to take a 3-game lead next week in their division is unreal. I mean, absolutely unreal. Granted, they played the 0-3 Raiders this week. Now 0-3, but 0-2 at the time. Raiders aren't looking that great right now, so I mean, we'll give them a benefit of the doubt. They're playing the Patriots this week, and they're, it's going to be tough to go into Foxborough and take a 3-game lead in that division.
Yeah, and we always have the teams that start off hot that kind of fizzle out just because they get a tougher schedule or they kind of fall into their true identity. I think that this week against the Pats is really going to be their either homecoming party or their coming out party.
Right.
Where they're gonna show basically who they are this week, if they're a real playoff contender or not. As for the Raiders, John's doing his best. Gruden's really trying, but I don't see it this year. I think that this is a rebuild year.
Here's the problem. This is a classic case of what happens when you have a team that has talent but doesn't want to play for the coach. When you have a guy like Gruden come in here and take on a 10-year contract for $100 million, and then after that, the team says they don't have enough money for Khalil Mack. You don't have enough money for the franchise player, but you have enough money for a coach that hasn't coached in the league in 10 years? and hasn't had success in 15 years. So I just think that's a horrible message to the players, like for morale, because, I mean, Mac and Derek Carr are pretty much the faces of the franchise at that point when Gruden comes in. And for him to come in there and then say that, Khalil didn't want to be here when a lot of players feel so closely attached to him. And now 3 weeks in a row with his new team, the Bears, he's had a forced fumble and a sack. So he's playing out of his mind to start this season. And
arguably defensive player of the year so far. And obviously we're early, so I'm not going to dub it. But I mean, definitely an option for that title so far.
Did you not only see what... Well, first of all, Khalil Mack is just an absolute animal. Let's get that out of the way. Then Gruden goes out and says, it's real hard to find a good pass rusher in the NFL. He goes out and says that to the media. Yeah. I mean, what a bunch of cojones.
I mean, how do you get rid of literally on paper statistically the best pass rusher so far this year? And then, like you said, and I believe the quote was something along the lines of, it's hard to find a great, a good, or a pass rusher in general. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, Raiders fans, they got to hear this, and their ears must
just... Their blood's boiling. You look at the fans at that stadium, they already look like they're ready for a fight.
It's like dumping Von Miller, John Elway. We can't find a pass rusher. Okay, dude.
Exactly.
But let's also throw a shout-out to another oldie. The old Packer, Jordy Nelson, has himself
having a day, right?
Game of his Raider career so far. Now... I mean, it's probably just a fluke. I think that, everybody gets their one. I think Amari Cooper is still the number one guy there.
No doubt.
I mean, they didn't care to cover him, it seemed.
Doesn't this make their situation even more puzzling? The fact that you have Jordy Nelson, Jared Cook, Amari Cooper, Marshawn Lynch, and they're 0-3.
Yeah, no, they got the talent, but they, like you said, if the players don't want to play under the coach, they're not going to show up on Sunday.
Nope. Moving on. Next up, we had the Ravens topping the Broncos. I think some people felt that.
Sorry.
For those who don't know, our guest host today, Chase, is in fact a Broncos fan. He's not necessarily always allowed in the studio because, as you all are also aware, Sarah is a Chiefs fan. So we got a little rivalry going on.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to have to take a nice hot shower after this. Chiefs
by the Chiefs tank.
This is what I always say about being a Bronco fan because, recently we were successful with Peyton Manning. I would always say that I used to be a Bronco fan so long ago that Brian Griese was the quarterback. So that's how long I've been a Bronco fan. That's, 15 years.
It's quite Jake Plummer.
I've known Chase for quite a lot of time. He's not just a fair weather fan. He's been a Broncos fan. I don't know why forever. He's also been a Cardinals fan forever.
Yeah, I like the Cardinals of the NFC, but I'm definitely a Bronco. Oh, you mean the St. Louis Cardinals?
Yeah, I mean the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, well, that's Mark McGuire right there. No, that's my favorite Marky Mark.
Yeah, he's not fair.
All they did was make the ball go far. They still would have included defense regardless.
Listen, we're not going to talk baseball a lot tonight. I'm just saying, steroids don't make you hit the ball. You still need to be physically able to hit the ball 100 miles an hour. Steroids just make you a little bigger and hit the ball farther. But that's my touch on steroids in baseball.
But yeah, so the Broncos, this week, it was tough, going to Baltimore. That's a tough road game. They're always
a long road trip against a good, well-coached defense.
And the weather was bad.
It was
nasty. And wait, what happened? Oh yeah, that's right. Our number one rusher got ejected from the game for punching people in the first quarter.
I saw that.
So yeah, bad weather, road game, lose your number one running back of the time. So yeah, it wasn't looking good. I'm not too happy with him. But I also understand that we're not going to go, 16-0. So
exactly, especially with the way Keenum's been playing. It's like you're only going to survive so long in this league playing that way and not end up costing your team. And the Ravens will force the mistakes like they've always thrived on in the past. That's been kind of a hallmark of what this team has been about. Really, ever since I've been alive in the Harbaugh and pre-Harbaugh era. And this is their type of game, smash mouth. nasty football, nasty conditions. That's that AFC North brand that they've always played against the Steelers, the Bengals over the years. So this was their environment. It was a long trip for the Broncos, and I think it was just a case of a team kind of being due for a wake-up call.
Yeah, and I also lost $20 because one of my coworkers I work with is a Ravens fan, so we did a little friendly bet. Now, I don't condone betting children, but
we also lost with Minnesota losing our Survivor pool.
So, okay, guys, I was at the Survivor pool week 1 when I took the Saints at home over the Buccaneers, who weren't supposed to be good this year.
Sports betting is officially legal, I would like to say. So
in New Jersey.
Do what your heart's desire.
We're in Connecticut.
And if you are listening to this podcast in New Jersey or any other place outside the jurisdiction of Connecticut, be sure to check us out, whether it's on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, our website on Libsyn. Rate and review our podcast on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Like our Facebook page. I think that covers it all, right, Austin?
Pretty much.
And is that all at Call to the Bullpen?
Yes, it is.
Everything other than Twitter is at Call to the Bullpen. Twitter is at Call to the BP.
The BP.
2 is the number. So call the number 2, the BP.
Me personally, I don't currently have a Twitter. I do have a personal Instagram page, but I'm not putting that out there yet.
And I have a Twitter and Instagram with the same handle if you want to follow me, at Jared Talks Loud, all one word. Be sure to give me a follow.
Back to football. Who we got next?
Next up, we have the, drumroll please, Panthers beating the Bengals 31-21 in the matchup of the mediocre teams that are going to win 7 or 8 games. But for now, they're kind of in the race, right?
I disagree. I think the Panthers, they have that strong defense that they've always had, and Cam Newton, as long as he's healthy, he ends up winning 9-10 games every year.
I will say this. I said going into this game, I picked the Panthers, and I said that it's going to hinge on Christian McCaffrey. If he goes off, this team's going to go off. That's exactly what happened. Monster day, near 200 yards. I think that this is the case similar to the Broncos. The Bengals, they have a track record of inconsistency. They were kind of due for a loss. And especially considering that without Joe Mixon, this game was going to fall entirely on Andy Dalton. And we've seen in the past that he's a mistake for quarterback.
Yeah, no, Joe Mixon is the real deal. I mean, I've watched him play, and he had so much to offer. He's a difference maker, and I'm glad that Marvin Lewis finally figured that out, because last year he never got in the game. But the Bengals, I mean, I think that A.J. Green went down too as well, right? He had a groin injury. So the Bengals got the Atlanta and Miami and Pittsburgh next. I think that they're probably going to slide after those couple of games. I think that Miami's undefeated currently. Pitt's always tough, and Atlanta, we just saw them have a shootout, so they got some offensive weapons. So
Kansas City's undefeated, and they're looking great. So
yeah, I think that the Bengals are probably on a downslope. Not that they're not a good team. I just don't think that they have the firepower without Mixon and A.J. Green to beat those next couple games.
This is really bad timing for them, just with the all of a sudden resurgence of the Browns with putting Baker Mayfield in there and getting that win. Now they're heading into a winnable Week 2 situation, Week 4 situation with extra rest. And then you got the Ravens going 2-1 at recording time. The Steelers have a 2-possession lead over the Bucs. So yeah, the pressure's on Cincinnati right now. It's not a time when you want to lose your 2 biggest playmakers on offense.
Could this be the rebirth of the 7-9, 7-9, 7-9, 7-9 division of the Panthers, Falcons, Bucs, and Saints of, what is it, 2 or 3 years ago? Do you remember that?
I'm not going to go that far. I know it's competitive, but these are good teams. I feel like they're going to beat everybody else.
Well, I mean, it's not that. It's the fact that they have to play each other twice a year.
Well, yeah, they play each other, but I mean, I think that's still enough. That might be enough to cripple the teams to the 10-6 range, but I think that they're still good enough to, one of those teams is going to get to that level.
Let's just say the Ravens split with the Steelers split with the Bengals, the Steelers split with the Browns, and so on and so forth. They say they all split with each other.
Right.
The number 1 seed in that is going to be 9-7.
Oh, and the North? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's a possibility that all these teams are just fighting with each other. That they could all go 8-8, or they could all go 7-9, and a couple 9-7.
I can see that happening, especially considering that the Bengals and the Ravens have been a model of inconsistency over the years. The Browns, they're going to have growing pains, obviously. I mean, let's be honest. Even though they look good, a lot of people would still be really surprised if they were to finish 500.
Yeah, if they went 7-9 or 8-8, that would be a very successful season.
Yeah, if they won 6 games, it'd be a huge step forward. So, yeah, I think you might be right on the money with that. I think it's very likely the 4 seed comes out of that division.
Yeah, you heard it here first. By the way, if they do all go 8-8 this year, nobody else would have called that. Vegas numbers would have been huge, by the way. So I want credit for that.
Okay, next up, this is my favorite part of the show. The road to 14-2 has officially begun, folks, because the Giants are in the win column with a huge win on the road over the Texans. Nobody thought we were going to win this game. Eli Manning, accurate as all hell, 25-29, 2 touchdowns, and we are back in business, baby.
I am so glad I'm here to bring you two down on the Giants.
I never said a good thing about the Giants this year. I said they were going to be let 3-13 since the beginning.
No, don't you tell me.
I'm high on the Giants.
You did not say 3 wins. That was
my prediction was 3-13.
No way.
We're going to fact check that, and we'll get back to you.
This team is going to win more than 3 games this year, folks. What you saw in the first half of this game is everything this offense is capable of. Why? Well, because the elephant in the room was finally addressed. Finally, somebody had some sense.
Sat Flowers.
Exactly. Is Chad really the greatest right tackle in the world? No, but he's certainly better than Flowers, who every single snap, he's either getting beat or he's getting flagged for an unsportsmanlike, some personal foul or holding. He is a nightmare. He's one of the worst draft picks in the history, one of the worst first-round draft picks in recent NFL history. And without him in the picture, Giants are able to get some blocking in there for Saquon. Eli Manning is able to spread the ball around. It's not just the Odell Beckham show anymore because Sterling Shepard's coming alive in his third year in the league. And they've got a dynamic offense with a lot of different weapons.
Yeah, and you know why? It's because Eli's able to get to his second and his third read. He doesn't have to just look at the check down with Saquon.
Just dump to Saquon every single play.
No, when Eli actually has time, he's not a terrible quarterback. People always like to put the blame on Eli. It's almost like a meme now to put the blame on Eli. No, when he has time in the pocket, he's a good quarterback. He can make the reads. He's done it before. He's got 2 rings, man. I've seen this before.
And it's with a revolving cast of wide receivers, too. You look at Eli's career, he's pretty much never played with the same group of receivers for more than 3 or 4 seasons in a row. It's always changed.
Yeah, Eli is a good quarterback. I'm not going to go ahead and say he's a Hall of Famer, even though he probably is just because of the 2 Super Bowl rings. But he's a good quarterback. But you got it right on the nail. The difference at tackle was, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, like we've all said, you got to get a little time in the pocket. When you do, he's going to make plays, especially when you have Odell Beckham on the field. And you put the ball anywhere near him, he's going to catch it. But you got to have time to at least let him get a little open. When you're getting sacked within a second or 2 of snapping the ball, and he's a fast dude, but he can only get a yard or 2 up the field by the time you're on the ground.
No, that's the thing. I think I said at the beginning of the season, the Giants, they can be successful without elite offensive line play. They just need to be good enough because they have enough speed on offense. They just need a little bit of time. Odell's definitely the type of receiver who can turn those 15-yard slants into 40, 50-yard or more games because he's just that good of a runner, not just his speed, but the way he runs. So this is what really everybody hoped for as a Giants fan to start the season offensively. And it was a game where both teams were pretty desperate coming in.
Yeah, I will say that it was against the Texans, and the Texans now fall to 0-3. And, Houston's probably in the same boat as, the Giants would have been if they lost, simply because they thought that they were going to have a good year this year, and it's just been a train wreck so far.
Yeah, I projected the Texans to come, on top of that division and really run with this thing this year, and they're not doing it. And in fact, we do have live fact check, and I looked and I said the Giants would be 5-11. So I was close, not 3-13, 5-11, really not that far off. So I'm not that high on the Giants. I'm very happy with this win, and I agree with everything that's been said so far. Eli's got to have some time in the pocket. Flowers got to be cut. Let's just get to the chase. It's bad for the Texans.
They've already informed Flowers that they're not going to be picking up his option after the season. So it's make or break for him. Obviously, so far he's completely flopped once again. So
some would say.
Yeah.
That's not bad actually.
Speaking of the Texans, though, I really had a lot of.
I regret to say that I pegged them to win the AFC. I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to surprise everybody.
Well, you look at the talent that they have on both sides: J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, with Honey Badger out there.
Honey Badger. You got DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, who's just playing great with Deshaun Watson. Yeah. It's almost surprising that team has.
Lamar Miller was still not factor in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Miller, he's kind of like a hit or miss. He's a serviceable running back, I think. He's much better with Watson behind it. I think that...
Again, with Watson slinging it, I think people had a lot of confidence coming into the season. But he's been rusty coming off that injury. He only played half the season, people got to remember.
Yeah, I think Watson still got some time to develop as a quarterback. I think he'll be elite down the road. I think people were just really excited to see him get back, and everybody was jumping on the Watson train. You know, he's still a kid.
It's like the Jimmy G thing, small sample size.
That's absolutely right.
Yep.
Speaking of Jimmy G, torn ACL, done for the year, not looking good for the 49ers over there.
Yeah, no, Jimmy G, he was really the heart of this new franchise that they're trying to build with him. And, you know, they also lost their running back this year, and that was a real...
the torn ACLs.
Yeah, the 49ers, it's really heartbreaking because I think that they had a lot of potential, and Sherman was picked up on the defensive side, so they really could have came together and been a really formidable team this year. Unfortunately, that's all going to have to be pushed back till next year, and it is unfortunate. We put our prayers out there for Jimmy G and everybody out there that had him on their fantasy team.
It was hard to watch because as much as you feel sympathy for such a terrible, painful injury that's going to take so long to recover, Jimmy G, unfortunately, it just shows why quarterbacks. I'm not necessarily going to say that running hard, fighting the extra yards is wrong, but unfortunately, the way the play developed, he changed his mind as he was running, and that last second pivot, that sudden change of direction, is what caused his knee to bend so awkwardly. So it's one of those things where you have to either commit one way or commit the other way, because when you're running at full speed, those awkward sudden movements will get you seriously hurt.
Yeah, then the 49ers also lost this game with
badly.
Yeah,
very badly.
They ran into the buzzsaw that was the Chiefs, and
it's a homecoming for a team that's been hot offensively in one of the loudest places on planet Earth. So I think a lot of people saw this coming.
Patrick Mahomes is
playing out of his mind.
Quite honestly, he might be. I mean, I'm a Bronco fan, so I was late to get on the hype train. But he's got it. He's a gunslinger. Yeah, he's definitely been out of this world. I think he will calm down a little bit, and I don't think he's going to average this 3-4 touchdown pace a game that he's been averaging.
But once again, all the weapons you could ask for: Kelsey, Watkins, Hill, Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt is.
What they have right now?
Kareem Hunt hasn't even done it. I mean, he's had 2 touchdowns last week, but he really hasn't been Kareem Hunt of last year.
Yeah, wait till that game where they need him to be himself. I mean, he could go off because now the defenses aren't preparing for it.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes isn't just targeting one guy, though. That's the crazy thing. He's not just using one weapon. He's not just throwing to Watkins, not just throwing to Kelsey, not just dumping it off to Tyreek. There was a stat the other day. I think he's thrown in his 13 touchdowns that he has now to 9 different receivers or 10 different receivers. So I mean, he's utilizing everybody. Watkins just caught, what was his first touchdown the Chiefs, I believe, last night. So I mean, it's crazy that there's no just Julio Jones on this team. He's throwing to everybody. He's utilizing every weapon that he has, which is really awesome to see a young quarterback really being able to figure out who's open and not just rely on one guy to really score all of his touchdowns. And he's putting up some astronomical numbers. We keep touching on fantasy here and there, and he's been my starting quarterback since day one, which is why I said I didn't start Matt Ryan for. And I'm not upset about it because Mahomes is putting up some unreal numbers.
And I mean, everybody always says defense wins championships. That's the key to any team looking at making a deep run. But you look at the Chiefs, and although they've certainly had their struggles defensively, this offense really stands out in a conference that is lacking explosion and consistency. Because on one hand, you've got the Chiefs and Mahomes doing what he's been able to accomplish over the last 3 weeks, and then on the other hand, you look at games like the Titans and Jaguars, which was a kicking contest. I mean, let's talk about that game. I think the Jaguars were riding high, and they were cooled off, came back down to earth a little bit. They put up 31 points at home against the Patriots, only to be held to 6 against the Titans.
You know, both these teams, for lack of a better term, really annoy me, and I'll tell you why.
Yep.
My God. Sorry to stop this. If we're going to do another live update, Ryan Fitzpatrick throws his 3rd interception, and this one for a pick 6.
The Fitzmagic has officially run out, folks.
And we knew it would all happen.
The rabbit has officially died.
Yeah, we knew it would happen. It was only a matter of time. But getting
22-7, by the way.
But getting back to these two teams, the Jags and the Titans, they both annoy me because of this. The Titans They got nothing special. They got Corey Davis. He's a great wide receiver, but he doesn't produce really, and that could be because Marcus Mariota he's been hurt this whole year, and I think that
let's not forget he didn't even start this game.
Yeah, that is true, and I think that Marcus Mariota he's not going to go out there even if he's healthy. He's not going to throw 300 yards. It's just not his MO. But the Titans win games, and I don't know how they do it. They do it year in, year out. They made the playoffs last year.
It's funky play calling, taking some risks at critical moments of the game.
Let's not forget they beat the Chiefs in the playoffs last year, and the Chiefs were red hot.
They were down by a ton.
Yeah. So the Titans, they really annoy me. And I'll tell you now why the Jags really annoy me. The Jags really annoy me because they play to their opponent. And that's going to get them nowhere. That's going to get them to the AFC Championship every time, or the AFC division. They're never going to get to that final step if they keep playing to their opponents. They played to the Titans. They lose 6-9. But, when they play the Patriots, they can come out and Blake Bortles can throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. It doesn't make sense to me, and that's what annoys me. I think that the Jags have a lot of talent, really good team. Again, Leonard Fournette was inactive, so they got that going against them.
That's another thing. I mean, the receivers have really they stepped up in the first couple games, or really more so against the Patriots. I think I was certainly ragging on the receiving core because it just feels like a bunch of GP players, but they've really, I mean, between Moncrief and Westbrook, they've come up and they've played about as well as you could reasonably expect them to play. Blake Bortles had the best game of his career against the Pats. But this really felt like a cool down game against a tough game against a division rival. And now it puts pressure on Jacksonville because when you face this team again, you're going to have to win in their place. And what could be a difference maker if the division race stays tight.
Well, I honestly, after they beat the Pats, I thought, oh man, this team's going 13-3, 14-2. Now, nope. I think 12-4 they were last year. I think they'll probably go.
They were 10-6.
They were 10-6.
They were 10-6.
I'll say 12-4, 11-5. They're losing 4 or 5 games this year. Guarantee it.
I think they'll take 12-4 though. I think 12-4 is definitely.
I mean, yeah, that's enough to win the division. That's true. Maybe I'll be 11-5, 10-6. I'll take back the 12-4 because 12-4 is very good.
But if you like offensive football, that was not the game for you this week. Moving on, we had the Rams. The Rams topping the Chargers 35-23. I think we said at the beginning of the program, if there's one team that has pretty much gone exactly according to expectations, it's been the Rams. They've done exactly what people said they're going to do. They got a loaded offense, they have a loaded defense, and they're putting up points, they're winning games.
Yeah, the Rams are definitely the real deal. I think that I picked them for my Super Bowl candidates this year, yep. And they're proving me right, proving you right, Jared. I think you had them in the conference championship.
I did. If I didn't have them in the Super Bowl, I'd be surprised. Honestly, I can't say I remember that.
Yeah, they look spectacular. Todd Gurley is out of this world, and that defense is just so low.
There are 4 first-round picks in that pass rush.
And we touched on it before. Unfortunately, they're going to be out with Keith Talib and Marcus Peters for a few weeks. 2 to 4 weeks for Peterson.
That is going to leave whole secondary coming up against a team with threats. Wide receiver.
Yeah, exactly. We touched on that talking about Minnesota before I leave. So it should be interesting going forward with them, but I still think they have the defense and offense capability to continue to win games. And they're not. I'm not saying they're going undefeated or anything. They're going to lose at some point. These guys are going to get tired, but they're a phenomenal team right now. They're looking incredible, and we'll see what happens going forward. But really, they look great.
This was actually the inaugural. I think that's the right term. Inaugural LA battle. The game
battle of Los Angeles. That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
And the Chargers. I've been high on the Chargers. There's no aliens this time. Or bad acting.
Wow. Zing.
I was high on the Chargers to start the year. I thought that they were going to be, a playoff contender, and I think that they still can be.
They're missing Joey Bosa, though. That's a whole on defense.
It's the defense is just not what we thought it would be, and yes, Joey Bosa is a big part of that defense, but they still got the cornerbacks. They got Casey Hayward.
You got Melvin Ingram.
Melvin Ingram's another pass rusher. They got pieces. I think that they shouldn't be getting torched like they are.
No, they've been absolutely torn apart to start up the season against the first was against the Chiefs, now it's against the Rams. And this offense, while it's very good with Melvin Gordon and Keenan Allen, and Philip Rivers has always proven to be definitely quarterback capable of putting up points, if nothing else throughout his career. He's always been a guy that's been able to sling it downfield. But it's clear this offense is good enough to keep up with more dynamic ones with so many more options and depth in the receiving core. They're not going to be able to top these teams that are putting up 30-plus points. So it's the defense is going to have to step it up, or they're falling behind really fast in this division. They're already 1-2.
Yeah, I think that with the Chiefs playing as well as they are, and even the Broncos, they're at 2-1. I think that they're going to have to turn things around quickly, or they're going to find themselves in the same spot they've been in the past couple of years.
No doubt. Moving on, we had the Seahawks saving their season for the moment against the Cowboys. They're also facing an uphill climb at 1-2. But for 1 week, we talked about how the Legion of Boom is no more. This looked like old school Seattle as far as just defensively dominating a team at home. And the Cowboys have been looking really average on offense, and that's probably putting it in the best terms. Dak Prescott said after the game, he pretty much took full accountability for his performance. He said, I've got to be more accurate throwing football. He committed turnovers. They're leaning on him more this year, and they don't have a lot of depth at receiver.
Yeah, neither of these teams are too exciting this year, which is unfortunate because they have been powerhouses in the past. The Seahawks and the Cowboys, are both they're both suffering from the same problems, and that's a lack of options on offense, a lack of playmakers. I don't even know who the wide receiver one for the Cowboys is right now, and I think
Cole Beasley.
Yeah, we talked about this last week. Cole Beasley is the number one on paper depth chart wide receiver for the Cowboys, which is sad.
And on the opposite end of things, the wide receiver one for the Seahawks, I think, is Brandon Marshall. So
yeah. He said that last week, Jared. It's Brandon Marshall.
Exactly. Yeah. Shout out to him too. ARP card is coming in the mail. 55 years old, around on the horizon.
I don't want to see he's washed up or anything or too old. I mean, he's still doing what he does.
He was awful on the Giants last year. Next.
Wow, salty.
Alrighty, yeah. Seahawks pull out the win. I think I said it last week on the program. We have a really good head coach quarterback combo like Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. They might not be the Seahawks of old, but when you have that kind of winning combination, they're not going to be a terrible team this year. They're going to find ways to pull out games like this, especially at home. I think they're going to be middle of the road, not a playoff team, but probably 7-8 wins.
Agreed.
Next up, we had another really exciting game between the Arizona Cardinals and the Chicago Bears. This is just the type of boring game you would expect between two struggling offenses. Kudos to the Cardinals, who after this game they decided that they're going to roll with Josh Rosen, which I think is absolutely what you have to do when you're a team that you're just kind of playing out of your league this year. You're not going to be able to compete. You've got the rookie quarterback. Find out if he's going to be your guy. Find out, you got to evaluate what you have. You got to know, is he going to be our guy? Are we going to have to get somebody else?
Yeah, absolutely. They should be doing what the Bills are doing right now, and that's just throw Rosen in, let him get the experience. You guys aren't making the playoffs anyways. You win a couple games like maybe like Allen did against the Vikings, and you get your young QB feeling good. I think that Rosen coming into this game was actually the best thing that could have happened for this Cardinals team besides pulling off a win, which they could not.
Once you saw Radford turn the ball over again multiple times, I think the light bulb went off.
The player that suffers the most from this Cardinals team is actually a Cardinals player himself, and that would be David Johnson. And Larry Fitzgerald. Both these guys are. Larry Fitzgerald is a proven Hall of Famer,
legendary career.
And David Johnson very well could be if he had if he had a team around him. I think David Johnson is the real deal, but this year it's just not going to happen for the Cardinals.
Without question. But the Bears are actually in first place in the division right now, so we'll see if they can sustain it. But I think Trubisky's got to play better, especially in the division with Rodgers and Cousins. Obviously very more dynamic offense there.
I think if Khalil Mack averages the
strip sack and fumble,
and Packers found their way back from three scores down.
That was a holy comeback right there. That was a
divine intervention.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Speaking of divine interventions, let's talk about the Detroit Lions dominating the Patriots in prime time. We were laughing about this game going in. We thought the Patriots were going to take out all their frustrations on the Lions after losing to the Jaguars, and oh my goodness, were we wrong? Matt Patricia absolutely stuck to his former team. The Patriots couldn't get they got next to nothing going on offense. They had that one drive after the turnover in the third quarter where you thought the Pats were about to swing the momentum back in their favor and go on for the classic Tom Brady comeback win, and then it just didn't happen. They got nothing done after that.
Yeah, I think that the Pats were really just overplayed in this matchup. I think if you watch it from the beginning, they tried to do a ground and pound with Sony Michel, and that's awesome to see the rookie getting carries because he suffered with a little injuries to start the year. But I think that they were overpowered at the offensive line and the defensive front. I think that we saw Tom Brady look uncomfortable in the pocket, and when he looks uncomfortable in the pocket, that's when he struggles the most, and everybody knows that. The Giants know that. The Broncos know that. You put a pass rush on Brady, that's how you get to him. And the Lions, with the Matt Patricia as their head coach, the former defensive coordinator.
Yeah, former Patriot coach there, defensive coordinator. I mean, it's, did he know exactly what the Patriots were going to come out and do? I don't know. There were a little spy going on. I mean, it was kind of crazy.
He was taking notes. This game really felt like a classic case of he's been with the system for several years, and he knew all of their weaknesses. And I mean, the Pats, I'm going to say that they become kind of one-dimensional at this point. It's pretty much the Brady and Gronk show, and if you take that away, then what do they have left?
Well, honestly, the Pats are in a waiting game right now. They're waiting for Josh Gordon to see what he is, because if he can be the Randy Moss of 2010 or whatever, 2007, sorry, then I mean, it's a home run. And then you also got Edelman coming back off of suspension too. So that's a whole new wide receiver core in a couple of weeks. So we might be singing, goodbyes today, but hellos tomorrow.
Oh, of course. I mean, we all know what Brady's capable of. But I mean, for 1 week, this definitely puts him in a hole. And I mean, it puts him in a must-win situation, which I think they're going to, answer against the Dolphins. But certainly nobody expects them to be facing this kind of early season deficit.
I also think that I don't think that this is it's definitely a mood booster for the Lions, or like a comeuppance.
It felt like their Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to change anything. I still think that they're a pretty weak team. I think it's almost like the Bills win, but to a lesser degree, because I think the Bills are worse.
They had a personal vendetta here, and you look the way they looked against the Jets, the way they looked against the 49ers were not a good bunch either. I mean, especially in a tough division, a really tough division where they're pretty much outclassed on I'd say on both sides of the ball by almost all. Yeah, I mean, they probably outscore Chicago maybe on their turf, but it's really they're facing 6 really tough matchups this year.
Yeah.
So, and on that note, we're kind of halfway through this Monday Night Football game, which is happening as we record, and the Steelers right now are forcing a lot of mistakes. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, it appears the Fitzmagic is running out.
Yeah, he's overthrown a lot of passes from what I've seen. I mean, they're still in the game, only down 2 scores, but it's definitely not what we've seen from Fitzpatrick the past couple of weeks.
Hasn't been the performance that we've seen from the Bucs defense either against the way they played in the early part of that game against Philadelphia. I mean, Big Ben's kind of...
To be fair, 7 of the Pittsburgh points are from a pick 6, so you can't really blame defense for
Rob Roethlisberger he threw for 200 yards in his first 11 completions.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I mean, right now it'd still be a 6-point game if not for a pick 6 on the 4-yard line thrown from the Buccaneers' own end zone. So, I mean, a 6-point game is not terrible on the defensive side.
Not looking good for Tampa Bay, that's for sure. But moving on, we got week 4 picks to talk about 1 hour into the show. So, first of all, we have... I always shake my head whenever the NFL throws out games like this, because you got the Vikings at the Rams, which ordinarily would be a premiere, one of those must-see regular season games, but it's happening on a Thursday, so you know it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I mean, the Thursday night games, it's just...
The lack of preparation for
Thursday night football should be
It's proven that they're lower scoring, that there's less drives, there's less like interceptions, there's less turnovers.
There's less drama.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
There's less entertainment.
Guys are
tired, man. And we talked about this last week with the whole let's go into the overtime and have ties in games. Why are you going to have ties in games? Because you don't want to have guys get hurt in overtime. You're going to play Thursday night football and have guys that play on Sunday play 4 days later on Thursday, have 2 games of practice so maybe they can sleep for a day, and then get the hell kicked out of them again. It makes no sense. You can't. Thursday night footballs. Either get rid of Thursday night football or extend overtime.
You heard that's my 2 cents.
Exactly. The verdict, the ultimatum has been thrown down by Austin.
And it's funny because are the ratings even good on the NFL? I mean, it's only broadcasted on the NFL channel, correct?
Yeah. It's only on NFL Network. Except, I mean, sometimes if I think the major market teams are involved, they'll move it to the main networks, so, your Fox or your CBS.
Right, so you got to pay to see the games if it's not in your local area.
Exactly.
They can't be making that much on this. I mean,
I understand doing it on special occasions, do it for the season kickoff, and do it for Thanksgiving.
Yes,
I don't need to see it any other time of the year. The games are worse. It's a lower quality football. It is worse for player safety. It gives teams an unfair advantage, going into the game. You've got half a week to prepare, and then next week you have a week and a half. It's almost like you have another bye. So I don't see that as being fair either.
I absolutely agree. Get rid of it.
But talking about this game, the Vikings and the Rams, this nonetheless looks to be a pivotal matchup between 2 contenders. This has, of course, turned into much more of a must-win game for Minnesota coming off of that loss to the Bills. That's why you have to have those gimme games, or games against the lesser opponents when you've got games coming on the schedule like this, because now you're facing arguably the best performing team in the league in a must-win situation.
Yeah, I'm going to shock you guys, and I'm going to say that I got the Vikings in this game. I think that the Vikings are going to come out, and they're going to realize that they laid a freaking egg on Sunday, and they're going to come out, and they're going to be pissed off, and this is going to be one of those trap bets, kind of like Sunday, how we all said it, we lost our freaking survivor pool on Minnesota. I think that this is going to be the opposite. I think that the Rams are going to come in here a little overconfident, and I think the Vikings are going to be pissed off, so that's why I got the Vikings.
Austin?
I got the Rams. I mean, they're just looking way too good. I mean, I know that they're short Key. I know that they're short Marcus Peters, but they are looking good. And the Vikings, I mean, yeah, they might come out being a little annoyed with the fact that they got smoked at home against a team that should not have beat them. I just don't see them sticking to the Rams, really.
I think if you're the Rams, you have to be almost like foaming at the mouth after seeing Cousins commit all those turnovers against the Bills. When you think about what the Rams, yes, they're missing pieces in the secondary, but this pass rush is elite. It might be the best in the game, and it's either them or Saxonville at this point. So I think that what they think that they could be able to do to Cousins to force more mistakes, that could be the difference in this game, because obviously they're hurting in the secondary. And offensively, we've seen them have no trouble putting up points, and the Vikings defense has shown a lot of vulnerability. I think the loss to Buffalo combined with the lack of preparation, we'll see how they respond. I mean, sometimes you suffer a loss, you just want to get right back out there and make up for it. So I do expect Minnesota to be competitive here. I think this will be. I mean, it being on a Thursday night makes it, you're kind of suspicious going in there. You're not going to see the level of play that you normally expect from these teams. But I do think the Rams are just too hot right now on both sides. Even with the secondary injuries, I see them pulling it out. And next up, we have the Texans at the Colts. This is, I would say it's a pivotal game for the Texans, but I think that at 0-3, they're pretty much buried at this point, right?
Yeah, this is a winner. Start looking forward to the draft. I think for the Texans, 0-4, you're gonna have to go 9-3 for the rest of the year, and I think that's pretty much a tall task to ask of anybody. So I think that the Texans it's really a winner go home here.
I just can't believe the fact that the Texans are getting smoked this year. I mean, there was so much potential on paper, and I put so much faith into this defense, and especially in their offense. Deshaun Watson coming back off last year's injury, DeAndre Hopkins, their running backs, everybody. I mean, even Will Fuller. I mean, just great players on this team, and they are getting smoked. I don't know.
I mean, J.J. Watt, it's unfortunate because he's been one of the best defensive talents of our generation, but at this point, he's playing like he's past his prime. And this, I mean, they just haven't answered the call. I think that game against Titans ruined their season. I think they just ruined their morale. And they came out against the Giants. It was winner is alive, loser is in big trouble. And they came out losing in that game. So I think that they are going to edge out the Colts here. I just think that the Texans, even for all their faults, they still have much more upside on offense than the Colts do. The Colts, they're so limited with the fact that Luck doesn't. He hasn't looked quite himself. He doesn't have the options beyond T.Y. Hilton. He doesn't have a running game. I think the Texans, with Fuller and Hopkins, they're going to be able to make enough plays to win this game. It might be a struggle, especially facing a rival on the road, but I do think they're going to get the first win.
Yeah, I also agree. I got the Texans. I don't know if I said that or not.
I'm going to ride the cold hand and go with the Texans also.
All right. Next up, the Bengals at Falcons, a weird game that only happens once every 4 years because of intercontinental
galactic life.
Exactly.
We're going to start throwing with space balls. Space footballs in a space dome.
Yep, and they better be inflated to a regulation level. So there's going to be
there's no gravity in this space dome.
I was going to say they got a low gravity space inflation rate that's got to be perfect.
There might not be gravity with the way that Calvin Ridley's been playing. So I think the Falcons are going to go off here. I mean, I just don't see them dropping back-to-back home games. It's not anything against them for losing to the Saints, but just the fact that those dome teams, especially ones with good offenses, that place gets so loud. And now the Bengals are going to be missing A.J. Green and missing Joe Mixon.
Yeah, if A.J. Green's in, I will slightly move towards the Bengals a little bit more in case this is a shootout, because I think that the Falcons' defense is just littered with injuries.
Don't forget this is a back-to-back road for Cincinnati, too.
That is true. If A.J. Green's out, I'm all in on the Falcons, so I'm going to go with the Falcons here.
Austin?
I am also going with the Falcons.
And if you can tell by my Ridley hype, I am going Falcons as well. I think they're going to put up points once again. Then we got Eagles at Titans, another weird game that only happens once every 4 years. Intergalactic football warfare going on. And we got mediocrity versus mediocrity, but they're both 2-1. So, gentlemen, have at it.
Well, I think that I kind of made my point pretty clear that I don't really like the Titans because they annoy me.
I don't really like the Eagles. They've been annoying me too.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles are the lesser of these two evils, in my opinion. I think that the Eagles still have he was the MVP last year, wasn't he, Carson Wentz?
Carson Wentz, yeah. But they're facing a defense that's been pretty well-disciplined.
No, I'm sorry. Carson Wentz was not the MVP.
Nick Foles was.
It was Nick Foles was the Super Bowl MVP. Tom Brady was the NFL MVP. Carson Wentz would have been the MVP if he stayed on the field. And that's why I'm going to pick him and the Eagles. I think that they just are the better team in this matchup.
I'm also going to go with the Eagles. The Titans just don't do it for me this year.
I'm going with the Titans. I think that the Eagles, they've escaped. They've escaped. They let one slip against Tampa Bay, but they escaped against the Falcons. They escaped against the Colts. And finally, they're facing that tough road matchup against the defense that can beat them. And I think that the Titans are going to be able to play their game here. I just think that the Eagles' lack of explosiveness on offense is finally going to catch up to them. And I think it'll be a tight game, but I think the Titans are once again going to pull out that, I guess, what's becoming the Vrabel special and just edge him out on that, fourth quarter late score.
Next up, we got the Dolphins at the Patriots.
It's a big AFC battle between the juggernaut Dolphins and the underdog scrappy Patriots reeling after two losses in a row.
There's no way the Dolphins come into Foxborough and go 4-0. I'm sorry. Their bus, the wheels are going to pop off their bus on the way to the stadium.
You know what? I wrote down the Pats here, and I've had a change of heart. I'm going with the Dolphins.
You're going green.
I'm going with the Dolphins, baby. I'm ripping off my shirt right now to show a Dan Marino jersey. And I'm willing to bet on it.
Wow.
Now, this bet is not for money.
Explain yourself.
This bet has to be for a punishment.
For a punishment?
Yes, a wheel of punishments.
The wheel of punishments?
Yes.
Spin the wheel, make the deal.
There will be a wheel of punishments.
All right.
The loser will click the button, and whatever the punishment comes up, we will record it, and we'll broadcast it.
All right.
Wow. Chase implementing a brand new segment. Special guest host comes on here and lays down the law.
I really hope the wheel doesn't land on Rat Poison.
So who are you guys both going against me here?
I think we're both going against you.
All right.
Yeah, Patriots on this one.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we will come up with stipulations for this wheel of misery.
We might even have you all vote on them, actually. We might make a Facebook post with punishment options.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I love it. Social interaction.
When you listen to this, check out our Facebook account called the Bullpen Podcast. You can vote on what we will do. Hopefully it's nothing too insane because I really hope Patriots win.
Let's go Dolphins.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, for one, I just can't see the Pats losing 3 games in a row.
The Dolphins winning 4 in a row. For the love of God,
the Pats just don't lose in Foxborough. Let me say this.
Boys, it's going to happen.
Listen, I will say this. Even in years where the Dolphins have not been nearly as competitive as they've been so far this year, they have given the Pats a hard time usually once a year. Usually that game is in Miami, though. Usually it's not the Foxborough game. They show up and pull off the upset. So I think especially this is really a must-have game for New England because, even though I think at this point everyone still kind of expects them to come back around and win the division, they can't afford to fall 3 games behind at this point. Go to 1-3, then the season's actually in serious jeopardy. So even though the Pats, you don't want to let the Dolphins go to 4-0, beat you in your house, then you have to go beat them in their house to equal it. So I think that the Pats are going to rise to the occasion here, and finally they're going to force Tannehill to make those mistakes and make them a little uncomfortable. So I'm going to go with the Pats. Next up, Jets at Jaguars. I think it's a prime bounce-back game for the Jaguars. This defense is going to feast on a mistake-prone rookie quarterback. It's nothing against Darnold, but he's just been put in some pretty unfavorable situations here. The Jets do have extra rest coming into this game, but it's a really tough matchup for them defensively.
Sam Darnold, 4 picks. Count on it. Jags all the way.
Darnold will be good someday, folks.
Again, like Jared said, nothing against Darnold. We said it last week. Jaguars just really good.
Can we just pump the brakes, though, when everybody's saying, oh my gosh, the Giants made a huge mistake. They should have taken Darnold. Look, he's the next Peyton Manning. He beat the Lions. Look, he's so good.
They might have made a mistake, though.
No. Listen, he's good. Let's not let's pump the brakes on, he's going to be the greatest, pick of the class and, one of the greatest rookies.
Me saying he got 4 picks was not because he's a bad quarterback. It's because that the Jags are going to be.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's bad either. I'm just saying that, even though the Jets, I kind of had a bit of a sleeper team, they've still got some growing pains to work through.
Did you see his first throw as an NFL quarterback? Do we need to talk about that? How that is against every written rule as a quarterback there is. I used to be a quarterback. I know the rules.
Exactly. Yeah. Not looking good. So I think we're going Jaguars across the board. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Bills at Packers. I think last week taught us not to bet against Buffalo, but I don't think Lightning's going to.
I'm betting against Buffalo.
We're all going to bet against Buffalo.
Don't bet against Buffalo, but we're betting against Buffalo.
Straight choice in Buffalo, so we'll find out.
I mean, we're all going Green Bay on this one. Green Bay needs this game. It's a different animal to beat Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, and I just don't think that Rose is going to pull it off twice. Allen, rather. My bad. There's 2 Joshes in that draft class. Obviously the Packers have defense to exploit, but I think they're going to do more here on offense to win this one. Then we got the Bucks at the Bears. This is a short week for the Bucks after losing. It's not looking good for them against Pittsburgh right now. And they're heading into a difficult road matchup against a good defense with the game's most fearsome pass rush right now.
Yeah, the Bears are scary on defense. Offense, they're not as scary. I think I got the Bears here, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks gave them something for their money, just because if the Bucks do play like they have been the last 2 weeks, not today, because tonight it seems like it's not.
Based off recording time, the Bucks are getting smoked. So
but if they played like they have the past 2 weeks, they could get ahead of the Bears, and I don't think that Mitch Trubisky has the grit to get back into a game and come back. I haven't seen it yet from him. But I think the Bears defense keeps this game under control for them.
I mean, this game's obviously not looking great for it looks with the way Tampa's looking right now, going to face another tough defense on the road. That being said, I think that we just hit the nail on the head on Trubisky. I think if the Bears get down, they got down against Arizona, and it took them a much longer time than it really should have to come back. And I think that if they get down 20-6, 20-10 to Tampa Bay, I think that might prove to be a little much. And they have the Bucks, although Fitzpatrick's mistake prone, they've got so much talent with Evans and Sean Jackson, that explosiveness on offense that the Bears are really lacking. So I think that the Bucks are going to they're going to bend a little bit, they're going to make mistakes, but I think they're going to do enough offensively to win.
I got the Bears.
Great. Next up, Lions and Cowboys. Lions and Cowboys here. Moving on. We've got
this the classic classic Thanksgiving game, right? Aren't these two teams like the big name Thanksgiving teams all the time?
Yep, exactly. And thankfully they're playing each other, so we don't have
Thanksgiving Bowl.
Right.
I'm just coming up.
The non-Thanksgiving. The October's giving.
It's not October.
It's not October either.
Well, it might be. I don't know the math.
No, I don't think it is.
No. The first weekend it will be September 30th. Actually, so it's going to be
September's giving.
September's giving.
I got the Cowboys. Jared's got the Cowboys. Chase got the Lions. I'm not going to watch that game. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you got two teams with concerns. I think on offense for sure. I think the Cowboys have a lot of talent on defense. Enough talent to force those critical mistakes from Stafford, which are always essential to beating Detroit. And I think Detroit they played their Super Bowl basically against New England.
I like the Lions in this game just because I think that the Cowboys don't have much to offer on offense yet. If the Cowboys get out in front and can lean on Zeke, then I can see the Cowboys winning this game as well.
Dak is nothing special and not playing well behind him. But that being said, the pass rush can get after Stafford.
But I do have the Lions in this game.
Okay. Seahawks Cardinals. The Cardinals are starting Rosen. It's the right move. I do think that we could see a kind of a poor man's Buffalo effect in this game, but I feel more comfortable going with Seattle just because we haven't seen Rosen in a full game yet.
Yeah, I think that it's exciting for Cardinals fans to have their rookie quarterback starting his first NFL game, but I think that they're going to see a Seahawks team that's, they still got some talent on it.
You think this could be a retread of that 6-6 overtime tie between these teams?
God, I hope not.
In this year of ties, it could happen.
You're not wrong. Three ties out of 4 weeks, that's got to be a bet somewhere.
Well, it looked like there was going to be a third tie this week, too. So, it's pretty ugly.
Yeah, I think we're overdue. We might get two this week. Who knows?
Yeah, but I think that the Seahawks are going to eat Josh Rosen, so I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
I'm also going to the Seahawks.
And I'm taking Seattle as well. Then we got Browns at Raiders. Browns obviously on the upswing. Everybody's high on Baker Mayfield. It's Mayday.
And so are we. We are all high on
We are all high.
We're all in on Mayfield.
The Baker.
I think that he's just
in the kitchen.
I've seen rookie quarterbacks, and I've seen rookie quarterbacks start for their teams. I think that Baker might be one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've seen come into a game. He made some throws in that game that were just I couldn't even.
There was the one down. There was the one down by the end zone, right by the goal line, and literally put it, a couple inches higher than the defender. The only place the ball could have been placed for it to have an attempt to be a complete pass. I forgot who exactly it was to. It might have been Jarvis Landry. But I mean, great reception. But the only place this ball could have been for it to be a 15 to 20-yard completion, and he put it exactly where it needed to be. It was incredible. The placement of his balls, you're 100% right. Were absolutely incredible.
I think that this game is also just a team, two teams trending in opposite directions. Browns are trending up, Raiders are trending down.
At 100%. We got guys like Mitchell and Ward and Garrett on defense coming in against the mistake-prone Derek Carr. It's just a bad matchup for Oakland. Although if they are going to get their first win, it's probably going to wind up being at home. And I mean, maybe the Browns could be in for a letdown, but I just think they're riding too much momentum. And let's not forget, they have extra rest coming into this game, too, because of the whole Thursday night situation that we addressed moments ago.
Speaking of the Browns, just a heads up, this year so far, the Browns are 3-0 against the spread, which is pretty interesting. So they are.
So if you're a betting man,
they're fighting Vegas pretty hard.
So then I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. What is the spread on this game?
I have absolutely no idea.
Well, you know what?
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
By the end of this podcast, you give me the spread for that game.
Fair enough.
Alrighty. Moving on. 40. So we're going Browns across the board on this one. Is that correct?
Yes.
Browns. Mm-hmm. Boom. 49ers Chargers. This is, I mean, we talked about the Chargers having flaws, but now you've got the 49ers coming in after losing their quarterback to a torn ACL.
Yeah, so there is just no chance.
No, they're not going to keep up. No.
Chargers all the way.
Yeah, 49ers too many holes on defense. Richard Sherman is also approaching his 55th birthday. Saw some very gray hairs poking out of his helmet the other day. He's going to be that uncle that tells the old war stories pretty soon at the family barbecues. So, I'm going with LA all day. Chargers are going to get back in the swing of things, get to 500, 2-2.
Yeah, 49ers, unfortunately, no chance in this one. Jimmy G being down,
it's tough.
It's very, very tough. Sherman's one thing on the defensive side. They got a couple extra guys here and there, but the fact that you're going to lose Jimmy G for the rest of the season, you have some no-name guys stepping in. It's not going to be good. Chargers all the way. And to just take a step back for 1 second on that Cleveland spread, they are favored by 2.5 as we speak.
There you go. Take the Browns. They're going to win by a field goal.
They're going to win by a field goal. Echo.
Yep. And next up, we've got the Saints against the resurgent Giants, who are marching their way to 14-2 after that huge win against Houston.
The Saints are going to win.
This is...
all right, say it, Chase. Say it, Chase.
This is another one. I'm like...
Come on, Chase.
I said the Saints first, but now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about it.
Nope.
But I'm going to stay with the Saints.
Like a Giants fan, and they're going to lose.
I am going to go with the homer pick because the Giants just got themselves back into the race, so I'm back on the train. And the Saints have one notoriously been a slow starter. Number two, they've always struggled on the road, especially if you look at the recent history of this rivalry. The Saints blow out the Giants, put up big points against them in the Superdome. I think if you look at the last several Giants-Saints games that have taken place in New Orleans, the Saints have put up like at least 48 points in each of those games. It's a different story in New York, though. I mean, we're not at that point in the season where it's freezing cold, which creates that paradox for the really the polar opposite of what the dome teams are used to. But at the same time, it's not quite the same as being in the Superdome. It's also a second consecutive road game for the Saints, and I think that... I mean, obviously this is a matchup that's going to create fits for a Giants defense that hasn't looked completely dominant. They did come up with necessary stops against the Texans, but it's not like they stopped them from stringing drives together. So it's going to be tough, but I do think that this is a defense that if the Giants can ride that momentum from what they were able to do, especially in the first half against Houston, I could see them outscoring them in this game, and especially if they can force any turnovers on defense, that's going to swing the odds in their favor. So I think that this is the Giants' real chance to get themselves firmly back into the division race potentially. They could be tied for first place after this game. So I think they're going to show up.
If the Giants win this game, I will do another.
All right, we're going to have the wheel of punishment.
Are you in on this, Austin? 2 wheels of punishments here?
Do I have a choice?
I mean, it's up to you, man.
Nah.
All right, we're going to have 2 then. Because I guarantee.
I'm going to name the punishment too.
You guys will JCB guaranteed stamp of winning. The Saints will win this game.
You guys are going to both have to buy Saquon Barkley jerseys, and you're going to buy me one too. There's your punishment.
I'm a Giants fan, so that's really
no chance it'll burn. It'll burn in my house.
All right.
Ooh. Like that old Tebow jersey you got.
I still rock it.
Better change that to a Binghamton Mets jersey.
He's getting called up next year.
Oh, God. No baseball.
All right. Next up, a divisional matchup, one of the most violent rivalries in recent NFL history. The Ravens at the Steelers. All of a sudden, this is looking like it's going to be a meaningful game. I know people were kind of giving the Steelers a last rights, but if they're able to pull off the win on the road over the Bucs, they're going to be right back in the thick of the division race. And the Ravens have always been a model of consistency, kind of win-loss over the years. So this rivalry tends to favor the home team a little bit. I'm inclined to lean toward the Steelers.
Yeah, this one's going to be one of the nasty ones. Yeah. It's going to be the penalty-filled.
Hit him in the mouth.
Yeah. The only thing I would say if Vontaze Burfict was in this game, even though he's a Bengals player, then you could just almost guarantee somebody's getting ejected. But
he might show up just to close lines.
Yeah, these teams, they play hard, just gritty football, and I think that the Ravens actually could pull this one out. I think that they have a better offense going right now, as shocking as that might seem.
That's interesting.
But I mean, I know obviously we have the Steelers game on right now, and they're playing really well. But the Steelers haven't looked the same without Le'Veon Bell, and I know that James Conner is a serviceable running back. But I think that the Ravens have a better defense and at playing right now better offense. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me there, but I guess we'll just wait and see.
They seem more together right now. I mean, you could definitely say that it feels like Tomlin is losing control of this thing, that the locker room is in unrest. But that being said, I just feel like they've got just so much more depth at receiver. The Ravens have a lot of B players on offense. Joe Flacco, when he makes mistakes, it's the depth of this team, and they don't put up more than 13, 16 points.
Michael Crabtree and John Brown are good wide receivers.
They are, but I mean,
no Antonio Brown
and Juju, and so. It's tough just because I mean the Steelers defense is one to exploit, but I just think that they're going to pull this one out. I think they've got more capability when it comes to big plays. So I'm going to go Steelers. Austin, who are you taking?
I'm also taking Steelers in this one.
Cool. Chiefs and Broncos, Monday Night Football.
The game of the week.
We've got the Kansas City Keenies versus the Denver Brintons. So yeah.
Wow. Damn. That was pretty good.
The Denver Brintons. So the Denver Men. Get it? Yeah, there we go.
I didn't have to explain it. I got it.
Okay. Man, I just ruined it.
Yep, you did.
I don't dare go against the Chiefs in this household, as everybody knows that I sleep on the couch when I do. So, even though I believe Jared and Chase are both going on the Broncos in this one, I'm taking the undefeated Chiefs to win another one against the Broncos on an away game.
Jared, you're going with the Broncos here?
I am taking the Broncos.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I certainly feel uneasy after Patrick Mahomes has been lighting it up, picking a team to outscore him that has Case Keenum, to oppose the quarterback. But I also think that Mahomes hasn't faced a pass rush quite like what he's going to experience this week with Chubb and Miller. I think that the Chiefs playing again, when you're all offense, no defense, eventually you're going to turn it. You're going to run that one team that stops you, and they're going to leave the holes for Keenum to exploit here. I think the Broncos, if they're able to force turnovers, they could really capitalize here because this is a defense where you can definitely finish the job, especially if you're starting with a short field. So I think that this is that one tough road matchup, division rivalry, kind of a, I'm not going to say must-have for Denver, but they could really stake their claim as division contenders.
This would be a huge win for Denver, no doubt. It's not a must-win at this point. They'd be 2-2.
But they got opportunity.
Yeah, they'd be 2-2 if they lost. They'd still be in fine shape for a wild card spot. I mean, I know it's early to start talking about playoffs, but these games are important. You forget about them, but the early divisional games are important, and this one's at home. It would be a great one to have, and I think that they can do it. I think that the offense has looked way better, even though Case Keenum has thrown a lot of picks already. It's looked way better than last year. The defense looks pretty good, if not the same. I know that their secondary looks a little bit weaker. But like you said, the Chiefs, they haven't faced anybody tough yet, I would say. They faced the 49ers. They faced the Steelers defense. I mean, these teams, they're not really known for that.
They've faced some pretty poor situations the last 3 weeks.
And I think that Mahomes has been able to take advantage of it. And granted, that is a part of football, is taking advantage of the weaker matchups, and he's done a great job doing that. I still think that the Broncos take this one, and it's going to be a close game.
And Austin?
I got the Chiefs in this one. Like I said, I sleep on the couch when I argue with it. But I see the Chiefs really playing to their full potential, utilizing every weapon that they have. Their defense has been struggling, especially with injuries, with Eric Berry still being out. We really hope he gets back soon from that Achilles injury. I believe it still is. It's tough when you lose a lot of your defensive guys, especially big name guys leaving to other teams. Marcus Peters bails, goes over to the Rams this past offseason, so you lose a corner in that. And then you lose your top safety to injury, and Sorensen to injury also. It's been tough for the Chiefs' defense, but their offense has really been stepping up. Sammy Watkins, a lot of touchdowns. With a touchdown this week. Patrick Mahomes breaking records touchdown-wise. They're on fire, and they're a scary offense to play against. So as long as they can keep it up and beat Von Miller and the Broncos' defense, I think they can. I really think they can pull it off this week and stick to the undefeated record.
Alrighty, well, those are our Week 4 picks. And before we say our goodbyes for this week and wrap up the football talk, you know what it's time for. None other than the Moment of the Week.
I can't believe that this is a segment on this show.
This is the greatest segment on the show.
Sure is.
for my moment of the week. It's the fact that Clay Matthews keeps getting flagged for literally tackling people. This is the NFL. All he's doing is tackling people. It's the quarterback. He's made perfect tackles. What's it been, 3 weeks in a row now? He's been tackled for laying your body weight into the quarterback. Do they realize that we're on planet Earth and there's gravity? And he's 6 foot, I don't even know what, 260, God knows how many pounds. He's a linebacker. And I guess this isn't a running back. This isn't a running back throwing a truck stick into somebody. He's a linebacker. He's sacking the quarterback. How do you sack or tackle somebody without your body falling to the ground? I'm sorry, you're running as fast as you can through an offensive line full of giant dudes that are twice the size of you when you're a linebacker. You're tackling a quarterback with the football in the game of football, and you're being flagged for tackling them. He's not hitting them lower than the knees because that's a flag. He's not hitting them higher than the shoulder pads because that's a flag. He's putting his shoulder into their chest, and he's getting flagged for tackling people. Put a goddamn flag on either side of their hip and make this flag football. You don't want the quarterback to be tackled. Make it flag football. Everyone else can be tackled.
Austin, actually, funny you mentioned all this. Breaking news, Clay Matthews has actually been suspended for the next 3 games for causing Jimmy Garoppolo's season-ending ACL injury.
Exactly. That's my point. He wasn't even in the same city, the same state, the same area code, anywhere close to Jimmy Garoppolo blowing his knee out, but yet Clay Matthews gets suspended for it. Obviously, we're joking here, folks, but the fact remains that he's being flagged for being paid to do what he does. He's tackling people. He's not breaking their legs. He's not breaking their shoulders. He's not blowing their collarbones out. He's tackling the quarterback, and he's getting flagged for it. And honestly, it cost him the game a couple weeks ago against the Vikings. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. And I'm not blaming Clay Matthews. That's not my old moment. The old moment is the fact that Roger Goodell and the officiating staff are absolute incredible morons.
You know, I have to say that was a pretty good old moment, because I'd have to agree that Clay Matthews is getting the real short end of the stick here.
Yeah.
But there's nothing more alt than the entire Minnesota Vikings throwing up a giant deuce against the Buffalo Bills. And I mean, it starts with the quarterback with 2 fumbles in the first quarter. But I mean, come on, guys. You're supposed to be this elite defense. You're supposed to have these elite wide receivers. And now you just paid Kirk Cousins, the highest paid quarterback off of free agency in the last God knows how many years since Drew Brees came from the Chargers, I believe.
Something like that.
So what happened? You got to take care of the bad teams. And this is a bad team. And you're at home in front of your own fans. Your entire fan base got to watch you guys cripple up into a little ball. I mean, come on. Come on, man. Oh, that's copyright. We got to take that out.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go with a third old moment and pull from Major League Baseball, because we had we talked last week about Le'Veon Bell's new rap album, but he's not the only lyricist in professional sports, because Shohei Ohtani sang Despacito for his teammates. Yeah, he got hurt. He probably needs Tommy John surgery. The Angels flopped after a hot start. They started season 13-3. They're not making the playoffs. But hey, at least Shohei Ohtani can sing Billboard Top 40 hits. I mean, this thing was like William Hung on American Idol.
Billboard Top 40 hits. He's Japanese, and he can sing songs in Spanish.
Absolutely.
I don't even know Spanish. That's impressive.
Pure talent.
Shohei Ohtani, a true spokesman for multiculturalism here in 2018. So, congratulations. He can do a little karaoke, but you're not making the playoffs, completely underperformed. You're wasting Mike Trout's career, but your new acquisition from Japan can sing.
And on that note, I believe that's
a signal to wrap it up, folks.
All right, guys. I'd like to thank you guys for having me on the show.
No, Chase, thank you. Definitely come back anytime you like. We really appreciate the fact that you were here, your expert insight on the NFL season so far. Really appreciate it, like we said.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And once again, folks, another pretty NFL-heavy episode as we expect the season coming up. We are going to talk some more baseball next week, though, because we have 1 week to go in the regular season, and playoff picture will, of course, be confirmed. We're going to record right before the wild card game, so I think that's prime time to talk about the first round of the playoffs. And on that note, the Oakland Athletics did clinch the second wild card spot by virtue of the Yankees' win over the Rays tonight, September 24th, recording time. So we know that's going to be Yankees A's in the wild card game. Yankees right now have a 2-game lead for home field advantage, and a wild card picture is still up in the air because you still got that 5-team race for the 4 spots between the Brewers, Cardinals, Cubs, and the Rockies and Dodgers. So we'll see how all that unfolds. More baseball next week, but. That is going to wrap it up for this episode. Again, be sure to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and wherever you're listening to this podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, our official website on Libsyn. Be sure on iTunes to rate and review the podcast.
Also on Spotify. Definitely, if you like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of the social media followings, please do us a favor, hit the share button, hit the like button, let your friends know if you're enjoying this. Send us some reviews, some insight. Give us some topics that you want to hear talked about. If you want to hear something broken down a little bit longer, or certain teams that you're a fan of, or what your picks are for the coming weeks in the NFL, or even the MLB playoffs. Send us your insight, send us a message, post on our page, comment on our posts. Let us know what you're thinking so far, what we do better, what we do worse, if we're doing something real good. Just let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah, these guys are just looking for a little input from you guys. I'm sure if you guys had questions, they'd even do a little segment for their little answer questions for you guys or something like that. You know, these guys are really good. They're really working hard, so make sure you help them out.
Great, Chase. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. And with that, this has been Call to the Bullpen.
And we are hanging up.